Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we're going to be talking all about hair, and it's going to be about protective styles, how I retain the most length with my protective styles, how I get the most growth out of it, and how I prevent or decrease the amount of shedding and breakage I have during the takedown. So if you have been struggling with really gaining length when you have in a protective style, then this video is for you. Before we get into that, I do want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching, liking, and subscribing. I see you guys. I really appreciate you guys. If you haven't already subscribed and you are on a healthy journey, healthy body, healthy hair, this channel is for you. Hit the subscribe button below and join the family. Thank you so much again. Okay, so we're gonna get right into the video. Okay, so we're gonna start by saying, what is a protective style? A protective style is anything that you put your hair in just to protect it, to give it a rest. So braids, weaves, twists, anything like that that's just going to allow your hair to have a breather, allow you to retain length, and to have your hair grow without any impediment. Now, the first thing when it comes to protective styles that you should question is whether or not it's for you at this time, right? So who should have a protective style in? If your hair is breaking, then you may want to consider putting a protective style in just to kind of prevent further breakage and to give your hair a rest. If you're having excessive thinning, you may want to hold off on the protective styles because the protective styles put a lot of tension on the scalp and it can exacerbate the situation. So breakage, yes. Thinning, no. Also, if you just want to give your hair a rest, you're on a journey, you want to see increased length, then protective styles are for you. A lot of you guys have been asking, how long should I keep in my protective styles? And I said in one of my videos, I'll link it below, I give you a whole detailed explanation, but I feel like 3 months is a minimum for protective styles. And that is because if you have it in less than that, it really defeats the purpose. You're not going to see the growth that you want to see because you haven't given it enough time. If it's less than 3 months, it's not a protective style, it's just a style. What is the maximum amount of time that you should have a protective style in? And that really just depends on you, but I wouldn't really recommend going past 6 months. I have gone to 6 months and I've had no trouble as long as you know what to do when you're taking down your protective style. My little guys are upstairs. Longer than 6 months, you may run into some problems with detangling. And so unless you're really good and really patient when it comes to removing that buildup and taking down that protective style properly, I would not recommend it. Okay, so how should you prep your hair when you are getting ready to put in a protective style? And really, it's very simple. All you have to do is wash your hair and keep the oils that you put in it to a minimum. When you are going to get fresh braids or even a sew-in, your stylist is going to want clean, not too greasy or oily hair. Makes it easier to maneuver the hair to braid. And so you really want to just wash your hair and moisturize it with a cream moisturizer and keep the oils to a minimum. They may even request that you re-wash your hair while you're there if it's too oily. Now, how do you maintain your protective style during the 3-month minimum that you have it in? Again, it's super simple. I wash my hair when I feel I need it, when I see buildup in my scalp. So sometimes it's 3 weeks, sometimes it's a little longer. It really just depends on what's happening in my actual scalp. So I will wash my hair at the root, and I don't deep condition. I don't even really use conditioner because I don't want it to be left behind in the rinse out process. And then that adds to the buildup that you have to remove later on. So I really just wash my scalp and then rinse and let water run over my protective style. If you have in a weave, you can go to a hairstylist. They'll wash your scalp. They may put in conditioner. You can request that they don't if you choose to, and then they will style it accordingly. Or you can style it yourself. It's just ease and convenience, whatever works for you. Now, I get asked a lot of times, should I oil my scalp when I have in a protective style? And for me, the answer to that is yes. People are concerned about the increased level of buildup when you're putting oils in your scalp every day or however often. But for me, my skin gets very irritated, sometimes itchy when I have in protective styles. And the oils that I use a hair oil called Unlay, and it really helps to soothe my scalp as well as keep my scalp conditioned for when I take it out. You also want to be taking that oil down on the, if you have braids especially, down onto the actual hair strands if you can. With weaves it's a little bit more difficult, but just do your best. Also, if you are putting in, let's say, a weave as a protective style, try to leave out the minimal amount of your hair as possible. If you can leave out none and do a full head closure kind of situation, then do that, because the less hair that you have out, the less manipulating you have to do to that hair, the more your hair grows and is protected. Okay, so we're leaving out our middle sections, we're bumping it to blend in with the weave, and that hair is being put under heat damage. It's just really put through the ringer in order to blend. So it's better to have it a full head weave if you can, and just close it all up, protect your whole head of hair. Now finally, we're going to be talking about the takedown. So when you are taking out your protective style, you want to use an oil-based product. I mentioned a very good product, the Head and Shoulders, I think it's the pre-shampoo buildup remover. I mentioned it in my products video, which I'll also have linked below, but it just dissolves that buildup. If you don't want to use that, you can use, like I said, an oil-based coconut oil, and just really saturate that buildup with that oil, and then just work it down. Break it up with your finger, work it down, and then use a comb to kind of tease it out. You do not want to comb too viciously and pull and tug and rip your hair, because this is how people lose that length that they've just gained. They break the ends of their hair out when they are removing that buildup. That buildup is what causes the breakage. So use something with oil. Really take your time to detangle. If you have a weave-in, you want to saturate your whole head with oil. You cannot do what you can do with braids, strand by strand, but you can soak your head in oil and slowly work that buildup out. I see people skip this all the time, and this is how your hair kind of gets stuck at one length and you don't retain that length. Protective styles are amazing for growing hair if you use them right. We are losing the length because we're not taking it down properly. You really need something to remove that buildup, and if you haven't braids, twists, or anything where it's section by section, you should be detangling each section. I had my hair broken out so badly with the protective style because I thought I could just wash it and detangle in the shower. My hair became so matted. I had to have my mother and my sister help me to detangle it with my unlace spray, okay? And it just, I still ended up losing so much hair because that's the wrong thing to do. You have to remove that buildup first. And the last thing, when you take out that protective style, you want to do a nice deep conditioning, something that is super moisturizing. I have a mask that I use after I take out my protective styles. I did a whole video on it. I will include the link to that as well below. But any deep conditioning that provides moisture back to your hair is what you need. You want to sit under the dryer for at least 20 to 30 minutes to bring the moisture back into your hair after you have done a protective style, just to get it ready to be handled and manipulated again. So guys, I hope that helps. I hope you learned how to take down and care for your protective style appropriately. If you didn't know before, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I answer every question. I might not get to it right away, but I do get to them. So just comment. And again, I hope you like this video and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.